So, folks, we're back at it again with another call from the Transatlantic Call-In Show. It's a show that I've been co-hosting now for months, and you should go check it out. There are lots of different calls. I've been on several different episodes now. I co-host. I'm trying to co-host every other week, so you can check that out. But the show itself is on every week on Thursday. So go check it out. And guess what? The show, the Transatlantic Call-In Show, is on The Line. And if you don't know what that is, there's a link down in the description to The Line. It has a lot of different shows on it. Has a lot of different great content creators, some of whom you may be familiar with, others of whom you may not be. Go check it out. There's also a link down there to the Patreon and the merch store. A lot of really cool stuff. This particular episode was with Josie Caballero. Go check it out. Josie's also running for office, so go check out Josie and support her candidacy. And of course, also, folks, if you don't know what the Transatlantic Call-In Show is, it is a show where people can call in, oddly enough, and ask any question they want about transness. Whether it's for advice, or they want to have a spicy debate, or they have just a genuine question they've always wanted to know, or if they've been getting some conflicting information and they don't really know what to believe, we're here to help you out. So call in and let us know what's on your mind. It's a great show. I have enjoyed every single episode I've been on, and we get a very wide variety of different calls. So, of course, also like, comment, and subscribe here. But also, if you want to check out the full episode, there's a link down in the description to that too. So, like, comment, subscribe here, and like, comment, and subscribe over there. It's a win-win. Go do the things. And you can watch live again every Thursday. Go check that out. And I hope you enjoy this back and forth in this call.
We are going to take Seth, him from Texas. You are live on the line with Jack and Josie. You want to talk about the term women when speaking about trans women. Go ahead. Tell us about it.
Yes, ma'am. I saw the, well, I guess just to start off, my introduction to having an opinion on trans things started with Forrest Valkai, and he did a really excellent video, I thought, explaining biology over social constructs, which really put a good perspective on everything. So I've kind of used that as my outline for how everything works here. And then I watched the Will, gosh, what's his name? He has a friend named Steele, and he and her went around the country. It's like a documentary about this writer, SNL writer.
Will Ferrell.
And how? Yes, right. Did y'all see that?
Yeah, I did watch that.
I watched it with my wife, and I was like, well, that's the perspective and everything is interesting. But then, my wife goes, why use the term woman though? And I was like, well, I don't know, because it's like there's more than one gender. Why is it important for her to be called a woman instead of a third gender like they have in India, or one of the 5 genders the Native Americans use, or anything like that? And so that was months and months and months ago. And so then I saw that y'all have a ask anything kind of situation on here. So I was like, well, yeah, these are the people to ask. I don't know.
Go ahead,
Yeah,
Jack.
Like,
oh, do you have more to add, Seth?
no, that's just that. I guess that's just kind of it. Is that why fight the good fight for the term woman when there could be a more accurate gender or something. I don't know.
Well, so trans people, trans women in particular, since we're talking about trans women are women. They're just a different type of woman. And the trans qualifier there indicates what type of woman a trans woman
Mhm.
is, right? Like it's the same way that there are white women and black women, there are also trans women. It's just telling you what specific kind of woman someone is identifying as. And it's telling you that qualifier there is telling you that, well, they are identifying as a different gender than the one they were assigned at birth. Like it's indicating all of the information you already need to like communicate who someone is. And if someone doesn't want to identify as a woman, they are free to obviously pursue that and identify as non-binary or use whatever pronouns they want. And that's just kind of the nature of the beast, right? Like when we're talking about different, societies, like you mentioned, India with like the Hijra,
Yes.
there are a bunch of different like social ideas and like conceptions of how someone who identifies as a Hijra is expected to act, and that might be different from like what a woman is expected to act like in society or what a man is expected to act like in society. And so like the social expectations are different. The kind of set of ideas and qualities that are associated with a gender identity might be different in a third gender, fourth gender, fifth gender capacity. And so when we're talking about a woman, we all kind of understand, we all kind of have a shared set of ideas and with some variation in there about what a woman is
Mhm.
and or like the qualities of womanhood, I guess. And so when trans women are saying I identify as a woman, they're identifying with that set of qualities, that set of ideas. And yeah, that's kind of where how I approach it anyway. What about you, Josie?
Well, I was essentially going to say the same thing, and I'll just keep it very succinct as well with the idea of Seth, I'll ask you this question. It's a classic one that I use quite often on the show, but a black woman, a blonde woman, a cis woman, and a trans woman, are they all types of women?
So, yeah, yeah, they're all types of
Okay.
women.
Okay, great. So if you were to see and like if all these women that I'm talking about were all in a group, you would just say
Hmm.
those women over there,
Hmm. Hmm.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's why the word woman works in most cases because Jack and I are on a trans call-in show. We're very open and we are here saying, yes, we're trans women. That's who we are, right? That is a very special case because at least I can't speak for Jack, but for myself, I'm not going around society saying I'm a trans woman, I'm a trans woman, I'm a trans woman. No, I don't even really do that very often. The most that I do is really just carry this little lapel pin when I'm wearing a blazer that has like the Maryland flag and the trans flag. And then people ask me about it all the time. And I've actually had conversations with human beings, right? Where I'm just like having a conversation with them and they look down and they see my lapel pin and they see that it has a trans flag
Yeah.
and it's like, oh, you're such a great ally for trans people for you wearing that. And I'm just like, oh my God. Because they can't even like tell sometimes, right? Which is like fine. It's not my intention to do it that way, but that's just how it goes for me as and how I walk through the world. And like, I even work for a trans organization, and I have people being like, "Oh my gosh, it's so wonderful that you work to support trans rights. That community is so under attack." And it's like, it's really weird that that is how that happens as well for me personally. And most people kind of just go through their lives being like, I am a woman. They're not saying I'm a curly haired woman, I'm a red haired woman, I'm a black woman, unless the specific case shows up why they need to discern those type of things, right? Like if you're going to a
Right.
hairstylist that focuses on curly hair,
I,
yeah, maybe you want to let them know you have curly hair.
I, I, I definitely understand the identifier and like the like like that kind of thing. I guess maybe my wife has I can't really speak for her because I can't claim to know what's in her mind whatsoever. But it seemed like she was uh, uh, like keeping the term woman as um, a special term, like it meant something to her that was like childbirthing type of like it was an important term for her to keep for just cis women. Like it seemed like she was gatekeeping
Sure.
that word for
Yeah.
that specific thing. And is that do y'all see that a lot? Is that a thing or?
Yeah. Yeah, unfortunately, that's just a form. Unfortunately, it's like it's an otherization and trying to make women as a normal and a trans woman as not normal, right? And I have a lot of issues with the idea of normal, right? I don't like the idea of like somebody's abnormal, so therefore anybody who, yeah, it's just
Right.
weird,
Yeah.
right?
It's
Yeah,
like guys,
yeah,
these people have biologically existed for our entire existence. If they're not normal by
yeah.
now, what are they? Right.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
exactly, exactly. And
And
and I
oh,
go ahead, Jack, if you want to finish your
I
point.
I wanted to just add in like there's also like a semantic element of this which like related to language and language use. A really good example of this would be that a lot of people really disliked the way that all of a sudden a lot of people started using the word literally to not mean literally. And
Literally.
maybe like
Yeah,
12 maybe like 12 years ago it got official, like its definition got officially amended to include this new way that people were using the word. And so eh, despite the fact that a lot of people still to this day have an issue with the word literally being used to mean anything other than literally, uh
Hmm.
I think that there are still there are people who just like on semantic grounds or for whatever reason hold on to, kind
Okay.
of outdated ways of viewing language in this way. And like it's it's something that happens when like terminology changes or when different groups of people use the same word but in different ways. And um how someone might view one word and another person might view that same word, it can vary. There can be differences because communication is kind of like this nebulous weird thing where like I have air in my lungs that I'm pushing out of my mouth and I'm somehow turning that into something that means something to you. And that's pretty wild and weird, and it's a lot messier than I think a lot of people really think about on the regular.
yeah.
um and so that could also be an element of what is going on here as well.
Yeah, and Seth, let me pause it to you this way. I'm sure you've heard this in your life, like where like there are men, right? Groups of men are like, "Oh, you don't like trucks? Well, you're not a real man." Right? And people probably have said something like that, right? I'm sure you've heard it around, right? But the idea
Sure.
is
Oh.
it's trying the other or trying to make a man less of a man for whatever reason it is. It's the same thing with like it's been an argument as old as time of like other women saying, "Well, you're not actually a woman until you have a baby," right? And it's like, and that's this and that's fucked up to other women that don't want to have baby. I mean, like, look what happened with the last election where JD Vance was literally saying women who don't have baby and don't have children are literally deranged and sociopathic, right? Like, it's the idea of only the real women have the right to
Right.
be able to claim femininity, right? And if you,
Humans love to make a tribe. They love
they
to
do,
other each other, and it's a terrible
they do.
condition.
It is. And so when you go in and, with feminist studies and, all and women's studies, when you look at all of these different things, there are complete like books written on the idea that the separation of and the separation of women identities into their own boxes separates the power of women, right? When we have solidarity, that's when we're strongest, right? We win women's suffrage when all of us march, right? Even though all of us don't get the rights at the end of the day, all of us had to march to be able to get those things. And regardless if you had a husband or were white or black or all of these different things, women's suffrage had all these people march. Now, at the end of the day, the first wave feminism did not include, after they got their victory, black women and trans women. That was a very real thing. But we as women want to have solidarity with each other because we live in a world that tries to control and regulate our bodies, tell us where we can and cannot go. And when that happens, the idea of the real women also get hurt by it as well. Right. And I say quote unquote real women. So the idea that that division only makes us weaker, so therefore it's easier to subjugate us.
Oh
Does that
yeah.
make sense?
Oh yeah. Yeah. I mean, uh, yes, that does make sense. I appreciate that
Yeah.
explanation. It does seem that the term itself needs to be more flexible, and the dogma
Yeah.
around its usage is exactly
And
that, dogma.
and it
Hmm.
is worth pointing out that it has historically always been flexible. Like what constituted a real man in the 1600s in France, in France aristocracy was different than what a real man was considered, if you were a French
Big
peasant,
wigs.
Yeah. Yeah,
compared to
exactly.
a real man in, the American South right now. Like what is
Oh yeah.
what is considered a real man. Like there's an element of like cultural policing around that as well, where like, you know, I'm sure you've experienced like people, even at your workplace being like, you're not a real man unless you do X, Y, or Z, or don't do X, Y,
Oh
or
yeah.
Z. And in
Hmm.
a similar way, there is that kind of cultural policing around the idea of what it means to be a woman. And like, there that can vary wildly. Like, I know my mom has told me stories about growing up in America and talking about how, like, when she was a little girl, she wasn't allowed to wear pants to school because those were man clothes. Like, things have changed even
Yep.
within our own lifetimes about what it means to be like a woman when it comes to stuff like pants and like other different issues as well. And like, it, trans women are just a different kind of woman.
Yeah,
Yep. My
exactly.
parents are
We're
also
all
boomers.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Well, Seth, I hope that clears that up. And, and these are hard conversations to have. And, I really appreciate you calling in and getting a clear grasp on this. And, it just like woman means a lot to your wife, woman means a lot to me. And I'm sure it means a lot to Jack too. And I think that's what's special because being a man probably means something to you too. And nobody should be able to take that from you, right? That's what we
Yeah.
fight for, right? I want your wife to feel that passion and that love for being a woman, just like any other woman that holds that true to themselves, because I think that's what's
Mm.
special about, womanhood or femininity, and it's also special to manhood too. And, I think
Yeah.
that, when men have a strong grasp of what their manhood means to them and it's special to them, it makes the whole world better, because that individual fingerprint that everybody has with their own identity, with themselves, of whatever identity that is, allows the world to be more colorful, more texture. I always say, like, humanity is a tapestry, and it would be really boring if we were all the same color, right? It would
Right.
like, so I think we need to embrace the differences on how people see themselves, and to be all part of that same tapestry woven together to make it strong. And that's how I view the world. And I think that other people would find value in looking at the world that way, that they're all their own individual colorful strand that is woven with other colorful strands to make the beautiful tapestry that we call humanity.
Absolutely. What a pleasure it is to have. What a time to be alive, to have a resource like y'all to talk to and call in for
Oh.
free.
Yes, absolutely. Happy to do it, Seth. Happy to do it. So
Thank
if
you
your
so
wife ever
much.
wants to call in, have her talk to us.
Yeah.
We like,
I
you see,
will.
we have respectful conversation, right? We match energy sometimes. If people come in hot, we come in hotter sometimes. Depends on how it works. But this has been a very wonderful conversation, Seth. So I just want to thank you, and you have a great rest of your day, okay?
Yeah, you've been a
Thank you
delight.
very much. Y'all too.
All right.
Appreciate it.
Thank you. All right.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Well, that was a wonderful call. I hope you all enjoyed it. I hope you got something out of it. And if you did, let me know what you thought about it in the comments. Leave a like, leave a comment, subscribe, if you will. And also consider doing that over on the line as well to support the Transatlantic Call-In Show. And yeah, it's a good time. Also, check the links down below, because you can get links to the line, the episode, the Patreon, the merch store. There's a lot of cool stuff over there, and constantly being updated and added to all the time. So do check it all out. And yeah, also, if you're in oh god, I stopped at the weirdest. I stumbled over my words at the weirdest possible time and said urine. God, I don't think there's any way to salvage the end of this. So yeah, like, comment, subscribe, and I hope you enjoyed this. Let's keep on going.
Riverboat Jack is going to town. All the viewers gather round. Twitch and YouTube is where she streams. All that content is bursting the seams. Politics, gaming, and plenty more. Her sense of fashion you'll adore. So grab your stuff and hop aboard. We're going straight to Jack's Discord. Riverboat Jack. Riverboat